lost 1.41 million hectares of tree cover, equivalent to a 20% decrease in tree cover since 2000, and 740 metric tons of carbon emissions. Now, in Ghana, the top two regions were responsible for 58% of tree cover loss between 2001 and 2021. Western region had most tree cover loss at 499,000 hectares compared to an average of 141,000 hectares being lost there. So how is this affecting our effort to mitigate climate change? Joining us for a conversation on this is conservationist Awula Serwah. Grateful that you could join us here. So to what extent is tree cover loss impacting on our effort towards mitigating climate change in the country?
Good morning, and thank you very much for having me. It's devastating, because if you look at the figures, certainly we cannot be achieving what we intend to achieve at this rate. You really need to have a turnaround and begin to seriously do something about the loss of tree cover.
Now, we know that to preserve a livable climate, it's been expected that greenhouse gas emissions be reduced by half by 2030 and net zero by 2050. If you consider how we are progressing towards climate change adaptation, how far are we from achieving this or these goals?
Well, from where I'm sitting, we are very, very, very far away. And what baffles me is that when we know what is happening, I'm sort of surprised that, for example, we'll be thinking of declassifying parts of Achimota Forest. What we need to do at this stage is to increase the forest cover we have, not to decrease it. So declassifying parts of Achimota Forest, when we know what's going on, baffles me. And yes, there have been good initiatives like Green Ghana. So many trees were supplied, but how many were actually planted? And out of those that were planted, trees need to be nurtured, they need to be protected until they take root. How many have actually survived? Where is the data? And I can tell you, not anybody telling me, but a fact finding from myself, that a few assemblies could not have all the trees they had planted. And a number of them, just died. So we do have a problem that we need to seriously address. It's not a question of going to conferences and going up and down, but it's a question of really doing some serious work about what is happening.
Are you saying that we're not doing serious work? And if you say serious work, what do you expect to happen?
Well, what I expect to happen is to see a turnaround. So, for example, the first thing I expect is for the government to say that we are no longer going to declassify parts of Achimota Forest, because it's about the last remaining green belt, is the lungs of Accra. Why would you want to get rid of part of your lungs? I also want the data to come out about the Green Ghana. There's no point in planting so many trees when, because they haven't been protected from ghosts and things like that, or nurtured, or sometimes they're not even planted. So, and then of course, we need to have a lot of enforcement going on. We know how the tree cover is being lost, the illegal felling, the illegal mining. What are we doing about it? For example, when it comes to the illegal mining, we know what happened, for example, Akonta mining in the Tano Nineri Forest Reserve. What action has been taken against high-profile persons who have been engaged in the destruction of our forests? So long as the high-profile persons get away with it, I'm not quite sure that it shows a seriousness in attaining our goals.
Even now that there are programs available for the country to be selling carbon credit, how do you expect government of Ghana or the country itself to take advantage of this to ensure that we are able to then preserve a lot of our forest cover?
Thank you very much. A very good question. For example, I want to hear that we are no longer going to mine bauxite at the Awula Forest Reserve, and we're going to declare it as a national park. This will also honor the late Oteng Ajay, who was a fantastic campaigner for Awula Forest Reserve. We know that we can get money from the carbon sink. So why on earth do we want to go and mine bauxite there, when we know that it would kill endangered animal and plant species, destroy the ecosystem, and poison the source of water to over 5 million people? So that's one thing I want to hear. If we want to take advantage of it, we can't take advantage of it when nobody knows whether or not we intend to proceed with the mining of bauxite. As you may be aware, the case is in court as we speak, and I'm one of the plaintiffs. The case is in court. The campaign was formidably led by Erocha Ghana. So there are so many little things we can do to show that we are serious. We cannot be serious when we know that we can get the carbon sink from Itiwa Forest, and yet we are hell-bent on mining bauxite there. There are so many other ways the country can benefit from Itiwa Forest. It's not just by mining.
Interesting. I'm grateful to you, Awula, for joining us here on our news. Now, moving on to others.